heart of Real Madrid, a storm had been brewing for weeks. What seemed like a transitional period soon transformed into a full-blown internal crisis. And at the center of this turmoil, one name kept coming up: Xabi Alonso. The man handpicked by Florentino Perez to lead a new era at the club appeared, day by day, to be on the verge of collapse. Between unmet promises, a fractured dressing room, and a strategy questioned at every turn, Real Madrid's future seemed shrouded in uncertainty. And the trouble started long before the cameras caught the first signs of tension. Don't forget to subscribe to Real Madrid News today and hit the notification bell to follow every twist of this dramatic story. When Alonso arrived at Valdebebas, the message was clear. A new Real Madrid had to be built. A project based on youth, discipline, and tactical precision. Florentino dreamed of controlled modern football, modeled on the German efficiency Alonso had honed at Leverkusen. Yet almost immediately, several senior players sensed something was off. Luka Modric's usual smile had faded. Toni Kroos watched silently. And even Dani Carvajal, one of the team captains, seemed perplexed by the new methods. Alonso wanted to reshape everything: the structure, the rhythm, the hierarchy. And some players understood at once that they would have to pay the price. The first major shock came with the handling of Vinicius Jr. The Brazilian winger, the symbol of the post-Benzema era, saw his role completely redefined. Alonso no longer wanted a free-spirited player capable of improvising or expressing his creativity on the pitch. He demanded a disciplined Vinicius fitting into a rigid, almost mechanical system. During a team video session, Alonso stopped him cold in front of everyone. "You don't play for yourself, you play for Real Madrid." The words sent a chill through the room. Vinicius lowered his eyes, and whispers spread, "The coach wants to kill our style." Meanwhile, Kylian Mbappé, freshly arrived and at the center of Alonso's project, observed everything with a measured calm. He understood that he was the pivot around which the team would revolve. Yet he noticed the uneasy glances of teammates, Rodrigo's discomfort, and Bellingham's mounting frustration. In his pursuit of control, Alonso seemed to forget Real Madrid's very essence. A club built on instinct, freedom, and individual brilliance. And in this tense climate, doubts began to emerge within the squad. The Spanish press naturally didn't miss a beat. Marca ran with Alonso Zion, revolution, while AS warned of a potential internal fracture. But the real problem lay higher. In the corridors of Valdebebas, between Florentino Perez and his new coach, the president had granted Alonso full powers, but he hadn't anticipated how far he would go. In a private meeting, Florentino reportedly told Alonso, "You're not here to rebuild, you're here to win." A pointed warning, almost a threat. Tensions escalated. Training sessions became grueling. Faces grew tighter. Alonso demanded military-like discipline, repeated video sessions, individual analyses, and even banning phones at meals. Some younger players like Hendrik struggled to cope. The Brazilian prodigy reportedly broke down in tears after being publicly reprimanded for a lack of intensity. "Do you want to play here? Then prove it," Alonso reportedly yelled. Even the assistant coaches realized something was breaking. Yet on the tactical side, glimpses of brilliance appeared. A 3-0 victory over Valencia showcased the potential of Alonso's vision. High pressing, fluid movement, rapid transitions. But behind the scenes, unease persisted. Bellingham, usually professional and composed, questioned his place. He felt restricted, constrained by rules and systems, alien to the free-flowing style he had under Ancelotti. Rumors of a potential return to the Premier League began to circulate. The real turning point came after a shocking defeat to Sevilla. In the locker room, tension exploded. Vinicius reportedly shot a glare at the coach before walking out in silence. Mbappé muttered to a teammate, "We can't play like this." These words leaked to the press the following day, causing an immediate uproar. Furious, Alonso convened an emergency team meeting. "If anyone doesn't want to fight for this badge, they should leave," he shouted, pounding his fist on the table. A cold silence fell over the room. Even the youngest players like Güler and Hendrik were frozen with fear. If you think the Real Madrid dressing room is chaotic, leave a comment below. Who do you think is handling this crisis best, Alonso or the players? From that moment, the delicate balance in the dressing room shattered. Factions formed, supporters of Alonso, led by Carvajal and Nacho, and doubters, including Vinicius, Bellingham and Rodrigo. Mbappé remained neutral, observing the unfolding chaos. He knew a divided Real Madrid risked everything. Meanwhile, Florentino Perez watched closely. His advisors reported daily tensions, private conversations, and exchanged glances. Normally calm, the president began to lose patience. An unexpected incident accelerated events. One evening at Valdebebas, Alonso reportedly had a heated argument with a member of the club's communication staff over leaked information to the press. Convinced the player was betraying the squad, Alonso threatened to suspend key players without proof. Directors were alarmed. "He's losing control," an insider remarked. Meanwhile, the media began running stories about a fractured locker room, a crisis project, and an isolated coach. Performance on the pitch became inconsistent. Spectacular wins were followed by inexplicable defeats. The team lacked identity, cohesion, and soul. Fans, once patient, grew restless. Social media was ablaze. "This isn't the Real Madrid we know. Where is our DNA?" Even at the Santiago Bernabeu, faint whistles began to echo, a phenomenon unthinkable just months earlier. Yet amidst the turmoil, one player seemed to believe in Alonso's vision: Federico Valverde. The Uruguayan midfielder publicly defended his coach. "Alonso asks us to push ourselves. It's tough, but it's for Real Madrid's good." His loyalty was praised by some, mocked by others. No matter how fiercely Valverde fought on the pitch, he couldn't hide the reality. The dressing room wasn't following. Florentino knew it too. A decisive moment came when Florentino summoned Alonso to his luxurious office in Chamartín. "I trust you, but not for long," he said. Alonso, unshaken, replied, "I will finish what I started." Deep down, he knew the real battle had just begun. Soon after, a camera captured a surreal scene. Alonso and Vinicius exchanging harsh words at the edge of the pitch after a frustrating draw with Villarreal. The footage went viral. Debates raged. Former players weighed in. For the first time, Florentino Perez declined to comment publicly. His silence spoke volumes. Real Madrid had become a battlefield. Every word, glance, and gesture was scrutinized. In the shadows, Alonso prepared a secret plan to restore order, a radical shift that he believed would regain control. He called it internally Phase 2, a complete restructuring where no player would play according to status, only merit. He introduced a new system, moving from a traditional 4-3-3 to a 3-4-2-1. The aim, a compact disciplined team. The reaction, shock and whispers. 3 defenders at Real Madrid? Murmured Carvajal. Alonso ignored the questions. The battle lines were drawn. Training under Phase 2 was brutal. The team trained twice a day, dissected videos, and drilled defensive discipline. Creativity was suppressed. Unsurprisingly, tensions rose. Vinicius resented his deeper role, Rodrigo felt sidelined, and Bellingham saw his influence wane. Even Mbappe questioned the project. On the field, Real Madrid won, but without spark or joy, mechanical victories. The media was relentless. Alonso's Real Madrid wins but fails to inspire. The tipping point came with the match against Atletico Madrid. With Vinicius and Rodrigo absent, Real Madrid was unrecognizable. A 2-0 loss confirmed the system's failure. Alonso publicly defended his choices. "I'd rather lose with my ideas than win in chaos." Supporters were divided. Mbappe, increasingly vocal, reportedly threatened departure if nothing changed. Florentino understood. Urgent action was needed. The president acted decisively. A secret meeting with directors Nacho and senior players led to a clear decision. Alonso had lost the locker room. The end was inevitable. The next day, the club announced a meeting between Florentino Perez and Xavi. "Alonso will take place today." Hours later, Alonso left Florentino's office after a silent handshake. The official statement followed. Real Madrid and Xavi Alonso have mutually agreed to part ways. Shockwaves hit the fans. Some protested, others applauded. Mbappe posted, "Thanks for your work, coach." Vinicius simply shared a prayer emoji. Alonso's turbulent reign had ended, leaving confusion and relief in equal measure. Florentino had a plan. Days later, in a high-profile press conference at the Bernabeu, he introduced Raúl González Blanco as the new coach. "Raúl knows our values, our history, our standards. Real Madrid is returning to its roots." Immediate changes followed. Raúl reinstated hierarchy, empowered Vinicius, encouraged young talents like Hendrik, and reminded the team of the club's heart. The Bernabeu, once tense and silent, roared again. Make sure to like this video and comment your thoughts. Do you think Raúl can restore Real Madrid's dominance after Alonso's chaotic tenure? The team's revival was visible on the pitch. Creativity, freedom, and soul returned. Even Mbappe seemed inspired. Meanwhile, Alonso remained silent, far from Madrid. Some speculated about a future return abroad. Others said he needed time to process. His tenure, however, would be remembered as one of the most intense and controversial in recent Real Madrid history. Weeks later, Florentino confided privately, "I tried to modernize Real Madrid. I realized you cannot modernize a legend. You respect it." The club survived the storm, regained its soul, and under Raúl, looked toward the future with pride and ambition. Subscribe now to Real Madrid News. Today, to stay updated on every new chapter of the whole club story and never miss breaking news. But the question lingered. Will Xavi Alonso return to finish what he started?